Over 7 centuries ago, in the straits of Shimonoseki at Dan-no-ura, the Taira clan, known also as the Heike, was utterly annihilated by the Genji, the Minamoto clan. Women, children, nobles, and even their infant emperor Antoku perished in those dark waters. Ever since, the sea has been haunted. I once told of the Heike crab, whose shells bear faces of the drowned, but stranger still are the pale ghost lights that drift above the surf on moonless nights, and the battle cries that rise with the wind. These are no mere legends. They are the restless dead. The Heike died with such anguish that their spirits still linger. They capsize boats, drag swimmers under, and roam the shore. To appease them, a Meiji temple was built at Akamagase, its cemetery stretching to the sea. Stone markers bear the names of those who drowned, the emperor, his loyal warriors, his grieving court. Buddhist rites are held there still. Since the temple's founding, the disturbances have lessened, but the ghosts have not vanished. Their wrath lies dormant, not gone. Long ago, there lived in Akamagase a blind man named Hoichi. From childhood, he trained as a biwa hoshi, a minstrel who played the biwa lute and chanted heroic epics. He had surpassed even his masters, and when he sang of Dan-no-ura, it was said that even demon gods wept. Though poor, Hoichi was gifted, and the head priest of a Meiji, a lover of poetry and song, took him under his care. He gave Hoichi lodging in the temple in exchange for evening performances. One summer night, the priest was called away for funeral rites. Alone in the muggy darkness, Hoichi sat on the veranda, practicing his biwa. As midnight passed, he heard heavy footsteps across the garden. A commanding voice, coarse and strong like a warrior's, called out, "Hoichi." Startled, the blind man answered hesitantly, "Who calls me? I cannot see." "Fear not," said the voice, now gentler. "My lord, a man of high rank, has heard of your skill. He visited the Dan-no-ura battlefield today and wishes to hear your chant. Bring your biwa and come at once." Respecting a samurai's order, Hoichi obeyed. Guided by a firm hand, he walked through the night. He heard the clatter of armor, the neigh of horses, and then the opening of great gates. He was led into a vast estate, unlike anything near the temple. Inside, the scent of incense, the swish of silk, and the refined speech of courtiers surrounded him. A lady-in-waiting guided him to a great chamber. "Our lord asks to hear the tale of Dan-no-ura," she said. "How much of the tale?" Hoichi asked. "Only that battle." So he began. The surge of waves, clash of arms, cries of warriors. Through his music, the battle came alive. He sang of the drowning of the young emperor in his nurse's arms, of women leaping into the sea, of loyalty and ruin. The chamber filled with weeping. When he ended, the lady said, "You moved us beyond words. The Lord bids you return each night for 6 more nights. You shall be well rewarded. But he demands secrecy. Speak of this to no one." Hoichi was led home before dawn. That night, the samurai came again, and again he performed. But the priest, noticing his absence, grew suspicious. On the 3rd night, attendants followed Hoichi, but a storm rose, and they lost him in the dark. Searching the town, they heard the eerie notes of a biwa, from the cemetery. There, before the grave of Emperor Ontoko, sat Hoichi. Around him flickered ghostly lights. He chanted fervently, unaware of the living. "How dare you disturb me before my noble audience?" he growled as they seized him and dragged him back to the temple. The priest, horrified, made him confess. Hoichi told everything: the samurai, the noble house, the command to perform. When he finished, the priest gasped. "Oh, you poor soul, you've been summoned by the dead. That lord is no man of this world. You've performed before ghosts, and they intend to claim you forever. Tonight, they will return for you. We must act swiftly." He instructed his assistant to bring ink and brushes. Carefully, the priest wrote sacred sutras over every inch of Hoichi's body: arms, legs, back, chest, even his face and soles of his feet. But in his haste, he made one fatal error. "Sit on the veranda," he told Hoichi. "No matter what happens, do not speak, do not move. Pretend you are not there. Do not answer. They cannot harm what they cannot see." That night, Hoichi sat as ordered. Midnight came. Footsteps sounded in the dark. "Hoichi," came the samurai's voice. No reply. "Hoichi?" Still silence. A third, angrier call. Then came the slow steps onto the veranda. The voice muttered, "There's his biwa." But no man? Only ears? Strange. Well, the Lord must have proof. We'll take his ears. Hoichi endured the unspeakable agony of having both ears torn from his head, but made no sound. When the priest returned at dawn, he found Hoichi in a pool of blood, still seated in meditation. Horrified, he cried, "I forgot the ears! I didn't write on the ears!" He wept, cradling Hoichi. A skilled doctor saved the blind man's life. He recovered, but his ears were gone. From that day forward, he was known not only for his art, but for his ghostly tale, Hoichi the Earless. Nobles came from afar to hear him play, and he grew prosperous. But his name, whispered in both reverence and fear, remained forever Mimi-nashi Hoichi.